So Thorn just made a video that basically outlined his thoughts on how the Swiss system at majors could be improved or little changes you can make to make it a little more fair. And his two main points were basically you can either have best of three matchups throughout the group stage, which he kind of explained how that would work out still based on how Dota 2's International was a few years ago. Or you can reseed the groups reseed each matchup as you go throughout the group. Alternatively, you can do both as well, but that would depend on what Valve was open to. So my personal thoughts on that is that if we were to stick to the Swiss system, that would definitely be the way to go. Personally, I would much rather we go back to the old GSL format, and my reasoning for that to start is I personally just don't like the Swiss system at majors. I think it makes the group stage extremely boring to watch because the first 2 days are going to be teams that you either know will go through or teams that you know will go out, just playing off against each other. And the only reason that the group stage is even remotely exciting to watch right now is because of the randomly seeded groups. You're gonna hope that your team wins the matchup that they have if the seeding is really poor. So I think that's kind of the crutch that the Swiss system sits upon to get viewers at the moment. And that's a big issue because as a viewer, going back every day for 8 matches where it's different teams facing off each matchup and you're not really having a chance to explore the narratives behind each team. You're just going to have this team, analyst segment, this team, analyst segment. And it's just going to be repetitive and it gets boring as a viewer to watch a day's worth of Counter-Strike. Whereas the GSL format gives you the ability to focus on 4 teams per group per day. And what that allows you to do is, as analysts, as casters, and as the teams, it keeps it a lot more cohesive. It'll allow you to build a narrative throughout the day on how this team's been looking, how this team's been playing against other teams, etc., stuff like that. And rather than jumping between each game, it allows a little more focus on each team and their storylines coming into the major. So I know Thorn also mentioned it in his video, but ideally, if GSL was to make a return, we would want best of 3 matchups at the very least for the winners and deciders matches in each group. Now, from there, I would also argue that you could have best of 3 matches for the initial matchups between each team. Now, the only issue with that is you need to add just 1 extra day to the tournament format that we have right now, so 9 days in total. Now, with that, how I'd like to see it at least would be 3 best of 3s a day. So how that would work is you would have the 2 initial matchups between the 4 teams being best of 3s, and following that you'd have the winners matchup. Now the advantage of that is that the winner of that winners matchup gets to go straight to the playoffs. They get their legend spot right then and there. That also allows the losers to reset and have a little more time to adjust before they have a chance to get eliminated. So rather than play the elimination match on that same day, you're going to have the 2 initial best of 3 matchups, the winners matchup, and then the losers matchup will be all on a single day for every single group. So you're going to have group A through D play out their 2 initial best of 3s, their 1 winners match where the legends basically get their first spot. And then after all 4 of these group matchups are done, you can have that final, let's say the Thursday or the Friday or whatever, be the day for 4 best of 3s between the losers. Following that, you can have the 4 best of 3s between the deciders. Now, as a tournament, that makes the format a lot more interesting because you do have to be worried about your team past that initial best of 3, because that first day you want to watch it because you're going to have the winners playing in their best of 3 matchup, hopefully getting a legend spot. That decider matchup, you're going to want to watch it because that's also a legend spot on the line. That losers matchup, you want to watch it if a team gets upset, especially you want to watch that, because that's the chance where your team could go out. That also gives a lot of room for teams to still be seeded as they were before. It allows for reseeding if we need it, though in that case there is no reseeding because there's groups of 4. The storylines are a lot more cohesive. You can basically craft much longer storylines between each team that's attending, and the losers aren't going out on their first day there. So in my opinion, that is like the premium format you can find for a tournament, because after those best of 3s, you actually have Counter-Strike that you have to care about, instead of just best of 1s, best of 1s, best of 1s. Ooh, now it's best of 3s playoffs. Now we can care. And I think that's kind of what's led to a lot of Counter-Strike becoming boring for Swiss, because Swiss is so overused and no one's tried any variation on it, which is a bit disappointing. How I'd like to see the GSL format evolve would be implementing that best of 3 format. Alternatively, if that extra day isn't an option, what you can do is have those initial matchups be best of 1, and then just play out that entire group on that first day. So the 2 initial matchups being best of 1, and then the decider and the losers matches being best of 3 on that same day. Personally, I'm not as much of a fan of that, just because it doesn't give the losers a chance to reset, and it doesn't give the losers of the decider match a chance to reset, the winners matchup to reset either. So I believe that's the ideal format going forward into majors, but I'd love to hear what other people think. Cheers.